Welcome to the return of New York State Music in Motion. I'm your host, rocker Frank Palangi, here as we have a sit-down chat with artists from all over New York State. This season, we are sponsored by the Helpin' Friendly Salve, an all-natural herbal extract. You can check them out at thehelpinfriendlysalve.com. What's up, everybody? How you doing? We're here, Season 2, New York State Music in Motion, NewYorkStateMusic.com. I'm your host, Frank Palangi. We're back for an exciting Season 2. We got some great guests here. We got legendary, extraordinary, multi-instrumentalist Scott Hannay in the building. What's up, man?
Well, I'm in my building, but yes. We're in separate buildings, just to be clear.
Exactly. This makes it one.
Yes.
So, man, what instruments do you play? I know you play the keys.
Well, I started on trumpet. That was like my main thing for a long time, and really kind of don't do it much anymore. So
That's all right.
I pick it up once in a while and remind myself. It's like, oh yeah, you need practice to sound good on it. It's one of those. So, it's not like a keyboard where you can just, touch a note and it's there.
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah, it's a whole chops thing. So I don't have those anymore. But I consider myself a keyboardist, guitarist, bass player, and drum programmer.
Yeah, there you go.
I think more in drum than I actually drum.
That's harder than drumming, to be honest. The programming, it is a pain. I'm just like, give me a set of sticks. I see a Ninja Turtle in the background.
Yeah, Mikey. It's my dude.
I like that. I've been to the, let's talk about the place on your t-shirt there. I've been there once. Have you played there?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's, it's walking distance from my house, as well as this place, Olive Ridley's,
Yep.
Both of those places. I've actually sat in with a bunch of bands at Olive Ridley's, but haven't actually had my own show there.
Oh, really?
But Monopole I've played several times over the course of like the last decade or so.
Now I know you because we played some shows, Capital Zen. Mm-hmm. And then something Mr. F is going on. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
Why don't you talk about that?
That was a band we started in 2013. Well, the seed of it began in like 2012, and it was myself and the guys from a band Tamburku from Albany, and we came together, three of them and myself, and formed Mr. F, and basically set out with the goal to just make a touring ready band from scratch and just have like a bunch of stuff ready to go and go out and play as many shows as we could, as many places as we could.
Yeah.
And it worked really well until, the wheels fell off, so to speak, when the last, van died. And, it's tough to really get capital for a new van after you've already done Kickstarter stuff in the past. And it just came at a bad time, But, all in all, we had an incredible time, an incredible run. We had a lot of success for what we did.
Do you like sitting in with all these different bands? Because I know you've played with a lot of people. I've seen mostly you're a key guy, what I've seen, but I completely forgot that you play bass too. I go, I swear you did that.
Yeah, actually, somebody just reshared a video from a number of years back. There's a band from the Midwest called The Works, and they had me sit in. They're actually the only band that had me do this. They had me sit in first. I came up to play keys, and then the guitarist handed me his guitar, and I played guitar for a little bit, and then I took the bass from the bass player, and then I went back to keys to finish it out, and it was just like this super long improv session, and it was really fun. It was just one of the coolest things that they were, at least for me, that they were humbling things, certainly, that they were able
and that
to
was live.
That
was a live gig?
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
Wow.
It was after a big show in Syracuse. It was at the Westcott Theater, and it was a pretty packed crowd for what I can remember.
Wow. So they have improv shows where you just you got a baseline, right? You have like, a guideline of what you guys are going to do, but you kind of just, here's your part. Why don't you come in here and...
Well, it's more like nobody really has a part that's their own. They kind of find it in the space, I guess. Like, you kind of think of where the drummer and the bass player are, who are already also kind of filling in their own thing. And then, as a guitar player or a keys player, trying to find what room you have to do what thing and kind of sit in that area. But that's not most of their show. Most of their show is like songs and stuff, but throwing in like improv segments where there's really no plan, just take the net away and, the best.
That's good old fashioned rock and roll.
Yeah, certainly.
No plan, man. Just go for it. What do you like the best? Do you like bass the best? Do you like keys?
I definitely like keys the best, and that's just, I mean, it's what I wanted to be a guitar player growing up. I really wanted to be like, I wanted to be a rock guitar player. I want to play in a band on a guitar and be like this, shred. That's not what happened. Like keys are the thing, and that's okay. So, but also I've had a lot of love for bass. I've played a ton of gigs on bass guitar in my life. I used to play for a cover band, Kings of Stupid Mountain, and we would just play.
That's what I remember. I interviewed you guys, I think Radio Ugly back in the day.
Yep, Radio Ugly with Ken, those guys.
Yep,
yeah.
video. Yep, yeah, I remember that. Wow. So you're in Plattsburgh now, originally from Hudson Falls.
Yep.
What made you go a little bit more north there?
Well, my now fiance wanted to move up here, and I was like, well, I mean, I've been up there so many times in my life and know so many of the people up there. It's just made sense. So we came up here. The cost of living is a little bit lower than or somewhat reasonable. But what's really cool is that we live 2 blocks from a lake. So that's really
okay. Important. So you live near there. Okay. What's that venue that's on the lake? It's you know what I'm talking about?
The Naked Turtle.
Yeah. I've been there. I tried to get a gig there every year, and they never get back to anybody.
It's tough there, man. They're always booked out. They're really like highly in demand during the summer. Very, very packed place as far as everything goes in downtown area.
Good view. Nice.
Yeah. View. Oh yeah.
Yep. Once upon a time, I had an ex-girlfriend up there, and in one college semester, I went up a couple times and I toured the area. This was like 10 years ago, but I went up. Maybe we did that thing at Plattsburgh School where they interview bands and then they have you perform. I don't know if you did that on their TV network.
Oh no, I haven't done that. I was talked to one time about something, I think with one of my bands, but we were busy at the time and we weren't able to come up and do it.
Okay, it hasn't changed that much. That area, it's still the same.
It's gorgeous up here, though, honestly.
What about the Chinese buffet? Still got that?
Oh, Jade? Oh, yeah.
I think so. There was like 2 across the street, and they're like, don't go to that one. You got to go to that one.
Jade's still here. Jade, we recently got it like maybe a week ago. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Zen, we actually had a story that actually made me love the Jade buffet more than I think I normally should. And it was because we came up to play the Monopole one time, but our manager hadn't checked his own personal email address for the band. And like that was somehow where the emails were going to from the Monopole. And he was like, hey, I'm adjusting the pay, and he was like, I guess I'm going to take your lack of response as like, you don't want to do the gig. So I'm just going to give it to somebody else. We never got that. So we had our consolation prize after leaving when we found out there's another band loading in. We went and we engorged ourselves at the old gym.
There you go. Let's hang out there for 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was great sad food, and then we drove back home.
Yeah. The band life. History. So how's things have changed for you being, sitting in with bands and stuff like that with the COVID stuff? I know you do every Sunday, you do this live stream stuff. We'll talk about that.
I mean, that stuff that came about because I can't play with anybody anymore. And I really love that, playing in a band setting and getting to improvise with other people and like trade ideas back and forth, and the vibe. And I don't have that, but also like looping, like a loop pedal in the way I normally think of it, like for what I would. I think of it as like kind of stale, but not actually stale, because people do amazing things with them. I want more dynamic control, and so that was where the streams came in, and I started building looping sessions where I can change the key, or I can have odd metered time signatures and stuff, but it's all one continuous flow. And
you do it on a computer, I seen, right?
Yeah,
you don't do it with a loop pedal. You do the real way.
Yeah, I do it like right in a DAW like this, where it's this right now is actually what's currently pulled up is MIDI data that's currently streamed directly into a cartridge into my Nintendo. But that's another story.
I was gonna say that. Well, the Sunday broadcasts, they're 8-bit broadcasts, sound wise.
Yeah, well, some of them. At least this past one, I did a lot of that. So this is one of the things that I started with this past time.
Yeah. That stuff just brings me back to when I was a kid playing Nintendo. And it's funny because you instantly smile, right?
Yep.
The new video games do not do that. You're like, I'm so depressed.
It's not the same. I mean, there's a thing. A lot of soundtracks feel more like they can feel more grand or orchestral and like
movies.
Yeah. It's more like a movie score, and that's also cool. But I really prefer that, classic stuff that lets you know that you're playing a video game.
Simple. Yeah. I hear you. I like all that stuff. So what's your favorite system? Was it Nintendo?
Yeah, definitely the old Nintendo. I sold my own Nintendo as a kid at a family garage sale so I could get a Super Game Boy or something. I had already gotten a Super Nintendo. I was like, I don't need this crap. So I got rid of the Nintendo. And I tell you what, I've bought a couple of Nintendos since then. I've repaired other people's Nintendos for them, like the edge connectors, because they definitely go.
The thing is, when you bought them new, they didn't work half the time. You're blowing in them all the time. So I love Super Nintendo. Really, I'm a Super Nintendo Sega guy because that was more, you could put it right in, ready to go. The games are a little more advanced.
Yeah, definitely. The Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis had the very unique sound chips too. So the old Nintendo has its own style, but the Genesis is really stylized, and it was also the first one to really have full stereo.
16 to 30 bit you could go up to.
Yeah, you listen to even just the sound effect of Sonic's ring in headphones, and it's they put so much work into it compared to Mario's jump sound and whatever. But the Super Nintendo sound chip, the Sega Genesis sound chip, they all had different qualities about them that made them really unique and special, and that we don't see anymore in the systems because there's no limitations. They blew the roof off that. So
yeah. Do you with any of the bands and stuff, have you guys made music videos? Do you like well, let's say this. Do you like being in music videos?
It's been I can't think of a time that I've really we've shot a music video that's Mr. F. We did a couple of things. We did a video shoot, I guess you could call it. We went to Edie Road, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So we went out there and we shot 3 songs, multicam, but we were just playing the songs, and then some footage throughout the weekend, and I edited
a live kind of video thing.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
And it was nice and it sounded really awesome, and that was called the Snow Day Sessions, and it was literally so terribly snowy. And we even had a sax player come up to play one of the songs. He lived in New Jersey. Matty Carl, awesome killer sax player from the Glens Falls area. But he came up in that snowstorm to perform with us for that. And that was super cool or brave of him.
Wow. Yeah. That area gets a lot of snow too.
It was
Granville.
But it was
a kid bought it, and I forgot his name, but I've been there once. It's kind of his own private studio now. This is kind of neat. But yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's kind of the dream right there. Jeez.
Yeah, I do remember what it was before too. And it's out there though. It's a drive.
Yep, it is. I always loved it. It was a little piece, I guess.
Where else have you guys recorded locally, or maybe to Albany or? Not sure where.
I haven't recorded too many places in the region except for there. I've been Mr. F's actually the most recent album we recorded a little while back, and then I spent some time mixing it. Then we sent it off to be mastered. And I'm just I have it right now. We're waiting on putting all the pieces together and figuring out the right time to release it. But that was recorded at Glenmont, actually, in the band house upstairs. I borrowed some gear from Wild Adriatic, who I was playing with at the time. It was an M32, and we just plugged in and did it. And then I've spent another year mixing it and producing it, putting it together.
Takes a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, especially when you're doing it together. That's why you pay people money to do it sometimes.
Yeah, it's cheaper if you do it yourself, but
that's the trick. Yes, it is.
It's the time, though. I mean, I spend, I don't know how many hours, 5 hours can just go by like that. And you're like,
what did I even do?
You're like, I got the drums in the right direction for now.
I've been working on a track from a Zelda game, and I put all the drums together actually before I even, I spent a lot of time internalizing the song, but then I put all the drums together, all the programmed drums, before I even recorded all the parts, and that was something as well.
Yeah. That's a lot. Are you a fan of layering? Do you layer a lot of stuff?
I am currently layering a bunch of stuff. I actually have some MIDI layer stuff happening here too. Like my Moog is also connected to like a Juno, like a mini Juno thing. This guy.
Oh yeah, right there.
Yep. Yeah, and that beefs up the sound incredibly, and is also just like slightly delayed, so like it has a really cool effect. And another thing that's really cool is that the glide tracks differently on them. So like that, as far as like layers go, like I use it a lot in my stream. And you may or may not hear. That's not the one. Never mind. So like the one of them is more reactive to it than the other one.
Yeah. Well, you're old school. You got the dials.
Love the layers.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I've been actually have an unreleased EP of video game songs that I did at the beginning of quarantine as I was kind of settling into not having any gigs, not having any things to practice. And those ones I've been playing around with a lot of layers, a lot of different styles of stuff.
Was that your full-time gig? Were you a full-time musician?
Mainly, between that and actually what I would call my full-time gig actually at that point was Uber. So,
okay. The car. Yeah. I was like, what's that? I remember
that thing. As soon as March hit, I came home from a tour with like one of the old members from Frank Zappa's band and like a couple other really amazing musicians. We got home from that tour and it was time to basically be done with everything. All the gigs got canceled after that. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Then you're like sitting there. What do I do?
There's a lot of that. So I just figured out how to record stuff. I started streaming, which was basically just started by just playing piano. And then I started like thinking like, well, it would be cool to like play, in a band, because as I started to miss playing with bands more and more, like I got the ideas like, well, maybe I could try looping. Well, maybe I can try doing this with looping. And now I've got something where I can change the keys on the fly and I can.
As if it was in a live setting, a live venue. Your live venue is you guys watching right now. Thanks for watching, everybody out there.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
We're in season 2 right now, which is kind of cool. And
very cool.
I never thought really that I'd be interviewing people like this. I always like radio, but then you incorporate the video too. Mm-hmm. And it's always like, what do you do with your hands? What do you, you ever seen that thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I usually I pocket or I talk with them and then I, behind my back. I don't even know. Yeah. I try a bunch of things.
You're my only standing interview out of the 2 seasons.
I don't know what made, it's more comfortable to play this way. And then I just found out like, working at the desk right here, it's just, my spine feels good. Yeah. Like
sitting up straight.
Yeah. Standing up straight. It's like,
no. Was it this? The Clark Kent slouch.
I do that enough when I play video games. So I need to stand up doing other stuff.
That's right. So what's your favorite non-music thing to do?
My favorite non-music thing to do, I mean, probably would be play video games, but like that's the two things are so connected because I'm like I'm looking for like more awesome music from them, but also like great stories So
you like the Zelda types? Do you like the Tomb Raider stuff? Do you like the horror video games like Resident Evil?
I played through the Resident Evil 7 a little bit on VR one time, and I was the most scared I've ever been playing a video game. I like the Resident Evil games a lot, actually, but I haven't really played through too many of them all the way. I've played like a bit of all of them, and I found so much variety in video games. Like I can't just play one forever. I find myself getting impatient with like, okay, like can we get to where's the end? Where's the end?
Okay. Oh, I get you. Yeah, I'm always the guy like how there's always like a map and they always tell you go this way, but then there's a few side things. I'm always checking out everything because that's how you get like the extra ammo or health, whatever.
Oh yeah.
It takes a longer.
Oh yeah. I played through both of the Red Dead Redemption games through quarantine this year.
I remember the other one.
Like diving right into them was like, it was so wild because it felt like a more normal world.
Yeah.
Because you could actually like be close to people, so to speak.
You could actually get your haircut in it.
Like, oh wow, we didn't have to think that I would have to like experience these things through a virtual setting, but
yeah. Oh.
Not that I'm getting haircuts.
Well, you've always had that. I've known you, I think, for like 15 years off and on. You've always had long hair.
I just saw a picture of myself from 2008, and it was like the John Lennon like shag, like in my eyes type area.
Yes,
I was like, wow, that's. I just never cut it from that point. I never.
I think that's when we did that interview around then, 2008-9.
It's quite possible.
Yeah, back then. I don't know. What's future plans for you? What do you think? As far as let's talk about the local music area. How do you think this has affected the area, and where do you think it'd be after this? I can say one thing really quick. I don't think as many people, as many places will have live music because they won't have the budget.
No, that's one of the things that I think is going to be a huge concession for a lot of places coming up, is the amount of budget that they have to pay people. I mean, also a lot of people are willing to pay a lot of money for an artist right now, but a lot of that money has to go to like increased security, increased insurance. Nobody wants a super spreader event on their hands. Nobody wants it. Like, especially like right now, like, and as we go through the next year, I mean, it's going to be at least another year, I think, before we finally start to see some normal stuff and like, look forward to like festival season and stuff.
Hopefully, festival stuff. I go, that's going to be a thing that a kid says, "What's a festival?"
We'll come back to it, I'm sure, but I think like the super huge events, I don't know, they might try to break those things up because those are just out of hand.
They really weren't safe to begin with. Think about
people leave huge messes, like nobody's cleaning up after themselves. It's just
broken bones, unfriendly, and hits and scars and bad things happening. Nowhere to go to the bathroom.
No, that's the worst. And the place that you have to go to the bathroom is terrible.
Because they only have 2 porta potties for 50,000 people.
Exactly.
Well, we got 20 coming in, but they're all broke. So yeah, I mean, and I think too, will it be enough budget wise for the musicians to do it again, either part-time or full-time? Because I don't think the budgets, they were low to begin with, but with this, what do you think? I don't think it's going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough. I mean, was it ever enough to begin with? So
no, I think it was still on the lower side. To begin with.
Of course. And that's a lot of the standard like bar pay. I feel like, quote unquote, hasn't changed in a long time, and is as far as
90s.
And as far as like a band starting out and stuff, but places just don't have the money. So that's really going to continue to be tough for especially artists starting or beginning, is just to not expect really anything for even longer, I guess, than you even could before.
Probably more door, I would say. They're probably like, we'll give you a little bit, maybe something to eat, and then door. I don't know, but
I see a lot of other musicians getting creative as far as like trying to get stuff out there for like licensing and things like that. And that's not stuff that I've really thought of as a thing I should be doing yet. But I guess I know that's something I probably should be doing.
If it's original video game music, get on it.
I just need somebody to the right game. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, even there's throwback stuff. There's still on the PlayStation Store. There's people doing like Streets of Rage style games and stuff like that, and they need that music. You know what I mean?
That's true. Very true.
Love that game. Love it. That was going to be made into a movie at some point. Yeah, I remember that. What's your all-time favorite video game?
There's
number
like
one.
There's like a couple that like hover always like right around the top, and actually like Red Dead Redemption found its way up there.
Oh, really? Okay.
But not at the top. It's got to be. I think it's Super Metroid. I think it's got to be Super Metroid for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I say that just because it's the one that I've played the most times and the most different
It's not the
variations
easiest.
of. It's not, no. But also I found like many more even harder variations of it, which are like, because there's a huge community out there of people that have deconstructed these games and found out how to rebuild them in completely original and amazing ways that are sometimes rival the originals.
Yeah.
Strongly rival the originals. It's crazy. So I've played a number of those, including with like Super Mario 64. There's a huge community for that out there.
Yeah. That's the first 3D game that ever came out.
Well,
you could scroll
like
around
first,
the character.
Yeah, it was the first one that was like smooth. Like PlayStation was doing a little bit of that. Yeah, it was next level for as far as what they were putting out at the time. It was just a smooth, it had a solid frame rate. It was like, let's go. This game is awesome. I want all 120 stars.
Nice. Well, I hope there's video game fans out there right now, because I know I love it. Scott loves it. Jump on the bandwagon. Just don't play too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I do find myself getting lost in the new Zelda game occasionally. My fiance is like, hey, you've been. I'm like, oh, shh.
I only played Link to the Past. That's the only one I played. Yeah,
I love that
Super
one
Nintendo,
too.
I think.
Yeah.
So what do you? What's your plans for the future here?
I don't know, because everything's kind of up in the air. I hope to be playing the same kind of gigs I was playing before. I've been being hired to play with a guitarist from Denver, Marcus Rezak, on a lot of shows on the East Coast and elsewhere as well. Like I said, we played with Ike Willis from Frank Zappa's band. He was the voice on the Joe's Garage album. We did a bunch of shows with him this past March in the Pacific Northwest and in Chicago. That was our coming home and no more shows ever gigs.
Yeah.
But I have been able to do
awesome.
Yeah, I have been able to do a couple of gigs in the fall with Marcus. We did a couple of Shred Is Dead gigs, which is like a couple of really like ripping solo type Grateful Dead style tribute band. Usually like the harder songs in the material that most of the casual cover bands, so to speak, don't necessarily cover, because they require a lot more work and attention.
Yeah, I've never been into Pink Floyd. I can't honestly tell you anything, but I've heard anyways. I've heard it's not the easiest stuff.
But yeah, we did some of those, and then that's the last gigs that I've had, really. I actually took my looping rig experience thing out earlier this summer to a couple of like private parties. That was really fun, and I'll probably be doing that again this summer once it's safe to do outdoors. I guess. Well, it's safe to do outdoors is one thing. Most things are safe to do outdoors as long as you're taking care of your space. But like I get to make my space. I get to surround myself with keyboards and instruments. So I am safe.
I know. Well, it's so weird because it's like, well, I mean, sometimes even normal days you would play far away from people.
Yeah.
Or in a little gazebo thing, and then the people are here. So I guess that doesn't change. Just depends on the wind.
Can't spray your particulates.
Yeah, you can't. Nobody can throw beer at you anymore.
That's with the shields. Yeah, nobody can.
Yeah, or you could sue them. I don't know.
Get real nasty with it.
Yeah, I don't. It's to me though. That's the one thing that I worry about is even no matter how far away anyone's safe, is people are still going to overdrink. And guess what? They're going to forget what time it is. They're going to forget where they are, and they're just going to do the same old normal stuff.
They're going to forget pandemic.
Yeah. Then what happens then? So that's why, like, I have asthma really bad. So unfortunately, I don't know when the next time I'll be playing out, because it's a big, big risk for me. And I do miss it, but it's, I just think of that as,
it's a risk reward thing. You don't want to risk that. The reward isn't great enough.
No, I mean, the virus,
life.
It's
chest
oriented. So it's like, oh, damn. But it's tough because I started interviewing people on my Instagram on a whim because there was nothing kind of else to do. Everybody was sitting around. And then, you keep thinking of ways of not reinventing yourself, but this time it's literally like what to do next.
Yeah. Like Yeah, I really don't know other than to continue it. Oh, well, I am starting a Twitch. There's that. There we go.
Yes, those are cool.
I'm starting a Twitch because I want to actually, if I'm going to sit around and play video games and play music, it might as well be put together and taken care of, like all in one area. Somebody can watch it.
Yeah.
This isn't like an on a whim thing, or like I just remembered.
Well, you do pretty well, especially if you do that type of music, because all the gamer fans on there, and you broadcast, especially old school games, even new school games. That's what it's about, man.
Yep. The goal, and what I did the last couple of weeks on my stream, like a little bit, I looped the music from a game, and before the stream, I actually edit the game's the ROM file to not have music in it anymore. So I had to go and like hex edit out the actual music to keep very carefully, and it with a lot of tutorials online and stuff. Google helped. But anyway, so I've only been able to do it to a couple that I found explicit instructions on how to do it for that game. But a couple of them, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, I have those entire games wiped of soundtrack. All it is the sound effects. So I can do things like play the game while my soundtrack is playing.
You could be Aaron Pink Floyd, right? You could do any sort of stuff, anything.
I try, but cool. I know my limitations, but.
Could you take one of the songs from your record, or say like one of my songs, and convert it into 8-bit?
I have done that actually a lot. When I first started hearing the band Humphreys McGee back in like 2004, I think it was. Yeah, it was in the summer of 2004. I heard them and I was like, these guys sound like a Nintendo game. So I'm like listening to like some of their older, now they're older material, like way older material, but it really sounded like a Mega Man game or something like that to me. So I actually listened very, I basically notated the entire song in an 8-bit format with like within the confines of like what you're capable of doing on an old Nintendo, not just using the sounds. So like it's also like a part of the specialty sound is in the limitations, and
it's really the core melody.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in this one, let me pull it up here. There is. So like you have to simulate chords because you can't play like a full chord. So if I wanted to do a melody, now I can do that.
Yeah, you play on top of it.
Yeah. So, or you can kind of like mess with the existing sound.
That's cool.
Yeah,
all I'm picturing is like the Bad Dudes game or something.
Yeah, that one just kind of came up together right before the stream. So most of like the loops and stuff I do are all improv, with the exception of some songs. Like throughout the summer, as I was getting more used to the system, I was setting up like full songs, like Daft Punk songs, and even like more complex songs, like a Snarky Puppy song. What else? Everything. Chick Corea. I did a Chick Corea song. I did Spain. I set it up as like, loops and sections so that like I would play it through the whole time, and then it would get to the end of the song and then go straight into the next loop and then loop that. So then I'm in a safe area to then switch my instrument and then send the marker back to the beginning and then hit record from there. And then there's the next part of the loop. And I use that to what I've then built there. There's other parts with like odd times and stuff where I have to like kind of shift them around as I place them into the other sections. So then I can let the song play through as constructed and then play a solo over it and stuff.
So do you have 8 arms?
Almost, yes.
Wow. That's cool, man. That's I don't know if I could do that stuff. I mean, I love editing, but I don't know.
There was one point where I was like, I thought I was so in over my head as far as like programming goes, because I also have a foot controller that's like the Behringer footboard. You may have seen it.
You can do stuff with your feet too.
Yeah,
it's
so it's I can't even believe this thing. I got it, and it's like, okay, cool. There's the 10 buttons, and then there's like page up, and then 2 expression pedals, but you have to program everything, and it's like, how do you? The manual doesn't explain it very well, but I found a really great video. There's like German guy explaining it with a really thick accent, very clearly. very clearly in English. it was awesome.
You sound Austrian. Wow. Yeah, no, it's tough. All
but
that
it allows me to do technical things like start it and stop it.
Yeah, but how do you, like you're saying, how do you program that in there?
I've got
yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So I've given myself so many toys to play with, and then I can utilize them all in one way or another throughout the stream.
Yeah. Might as well. Somebody throws you something. Yeah, I'll do that. Right over there.
And all the guitars and basses are also it's all VST stuff that's done in real time. I'm trying to like run the absolute lowest latency possible so I can actually do it and it makes sense to myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you know from like doing stuff with guitar with like latency and VSTs, especially like a long time ago when we started doing stuff when we were kids. It's like, like so much later you try to do a line and like all of your notes are so far behind by the time you've got to the fourth note. It's like, this is a waste.
Yeah. I remember I'd have to hit mute and then play it and listen to my electric
and hope it was okay.
Yeah. And then I play it back and go, that's what it sounded like.
Yes. So I managed to able to keep the latency down to be able to do that. And I route them back through my mixer as like channels so they can be recorded to loop unaffected, affected, you know what I mean? Printed, so to speak. So it's like printing VST in real time.
You still need analog gear, folks. You still do.
Oh, it's definitely a digital mixer. It's an interface.
Well, it's still analog. I don't know. Anyways, so thanks, man, for coming on. Any advice as far as like independent musicians, maybe people that want to do streams and stuff like that, like you've been doing? Just
try it.
Just do it.
Yeah, and you'll start figuring out what you want to do while you're doing it. And there's so many videos I saw of people saying, just try it. And I'm like, cool guy. Cool. What do I do? What do I try?
Yeah. And I think it's because you don't want to screw up in front of people.
Yeah. That's the thing about live streaming. It's like a little bit different. It's more like hanging out with somebody rather than like going to a show. It's more like hanging with your people, you know, provided that people are there. But like,
yeah, I've had those 3 people.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's so much fun regardless, and actually it helps me keep up with practice and keeps up in discipline and keeps me giving me ways to play like solo over changes and try different things that I wouldn't have done otherwise. I'd be in much more safe space practicing for a live show, I feel like, than kind of winging it with like I normally do with the streams. Like most of my prepare like that day.
yeah
Like I set up like
on the fly
a bunch of drum patterns, then like tempos, like it can increase the tempo, decrease the tempo, change keys, all that stuff. But anyway,
guru.
I had a lot of free time, man. I had a lot of free time.
Well, you can link up with Scott here on Instagram and Facebook. And so Mr. F is the current band, right? You still have?
We were on hiatus. We haven't had a show in quite a long time. Actually, our last show, I think, was in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
We got flown out for a reunion out there.
Any other current bands that you're in?
I've been playing with Marcus Rizak, the guitarist. He's a guitarist from Colorado. He does things like Shred is Dead and Gateway to the Galaxy is like his original project as well. I would definitely check that out. He's a ripping guitarist, and that album is full of monster musicians. Like legendary saxophonist Bill Evans is on there. He plays with bass player from Frank Zappa's band, drummer from Humphreys McGee. And he's got a new album coming soon with the rhythm section from Trey Anastasio band. So there's that.
Are you mathematical in the way you play bass and that kind of stuff? Because if you're doing all the programs, you got 8-bit, I know how it works. Do you think that way too when you play?
I try to think like a bass player. I've always tried really hard to think differently when playing bass because it's so easy, especially knowing other instruments. When you don't want to overdo it. It's like, it's really easy. It's easy to play in the wrong register. It's easy to play something that's contradictory to what the drummer is doing. So, you know, just I try to focus on the bass player-y type stuff and less on the mathy stuff. Actually, that was a thing I've been doing too on the Zelda remix that I'm working on right now, or cover, I guess, more like, 'cause it's not really a remix, so to speak, because I'm playing all the instruments. But the bass part on that is like just groove oriented, and it's nothing like the regular bass line from any of the stuff. Like I ripped the melody away from all context. I kept the melody intact, and then I made like this like really dope like thump bump 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 bump, you know, underneath.
Just goes with it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever works. Nice. I like it. Well, people, thanks very much for tuning in. New York State Music in Motion. I'm host Frank Palangi. Again, hook up with us on social media. All right. And like you said, don't be afraid to screw up live, you know. And when I screw it, I actually let people know. I'd be like, yeah, I came in a little late, whatever. I just let them know. And it's like, it's cool. We're all human, you know, whatever. We're all just hanging out. Sometimes we say dumb stuff too.
Oh, man. So often I feel like sometimes for myself.
Yeah, no, but this has been great, man. Real smooth.
Yeah,
real
absolutely.
Smooth.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Stay warm in Plattsburgh, all right? And
yes, I just got a new winter coat, so it's going to be. We've been going for walks. Actually, it's been really nice.
Yeah, my parents actually do that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not a fan of the winter at all. Nope.
It was mostly begrudging. Caitlin's like, "Come on, let's go," and I'm like, Yeah, no, I need to go. That's fair. Let's go.
My friends, well, we went for a walk for half an hour. It was really nice. And I go, cheers.
Yeah, that's what I normally would have said. But you know what? I'm the one that's out there doing it now, and I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, it's something to do. You know, it's great. If I didn't have asthma, maybe. But
certainly not out there running. So
yeah, no running. You want to pull Tom Cruise or Stallone there? And
I don't want to pull anything.
Yeah, or operations. Oh. All right, man. Well, I'll see you later. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good one.
Peace.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our pages, NewYorkStateMusic.com. Stream and support.